Welcome to another DIY video. This week I'm going to be sorting out this room. I'm going to take up the carpet, sand the floor down, get rid of these shelves here, and I'm going to put some other shelves around here and just refurbish this room. I redid my desktop in a previous video and now it's made the room just look like it needs a good refurbishment. So hold tight for another DIY video. I'm hoping the floorboards are going to look just like they do in my bathroom, which is next door to the room that I'm refurbishing. I refurbished these floorboards a few years ago. Okay, now it's time to strip down the room. I was hoping to sell this shelving unit, but it's got a bit damaged in places. But what I'm going to do is reuse these shelves, as they're made out of really quite nice pine. I think I'll make some boxes out of them like I did in a previous video. They'll probably look quite nice in here as boxes to store things in. I don't think I can reuse the sides of this cupboard though, so I might have to just throw them out. The carpet is in a right mess. I'm glad it's coming up. Let's start by getting rid of these shelves. They've been up here for several years now. I'll fill the holes and then I'll repaint this whole room. I'll just take off the blind and I'll put it back afterwards. Okay, time to get rid of this shelving unit. It should come apart fairly easily. Yep, that's done it. Got loads of paint to use up. I've got silk, I've got a matte, and I've got a kitchen paint. They're all white, so it's going to be a bit white, but then I'm going to have some other finishings in here to make it look not so white. So what I'm going to do is use silk on the woodwork, and then I'll use the bathroom paint on the ceiling, and then the matte on the walls, and then that way I can use up all my bits. Don't worry, I won't video me actually painting it, or I might speed up the video. So let's see how it goes. I'll sand down the filler where I've filled the holes where the previous shelves were, and then I'll repaint this whole room. I'll start painting the ceiling and then I'll work my way down. I'll leave it to dry overnight. Great, that's all done. That's all dry now. It's time for the next bit. I'm going to try and keep everything off the floor to create more space as the room is quite small. So what I'm going to do is put some high shelves up in this area here. I'm going to put two shelves up here as an L shape in the corner. I've got this really nice big bit of chunky timber. It's 20 centimetres wide. That should be wide enough to make some shelves. I'll cut it to size and then I'll sand it down. I'm using a P40 grit first of all, just to get the rough bits off, and then I'm going to use a P120 grit just to make it a bit smoother. Okay, now I'm going to fit these chunky shelves just in the corner here, as a sort of L shaped. Got two chunky bits of wood, all sanded down to around about a 120 grit. Check out my other video on how to fit chunky shelves for full details. I'm going to be using these slightly different brackets than the ones I used last time. It's going to have a sort of industrial look to it. I'm going to be using hex screws just to screw them into the wall. Again, just for that sort of industrial look. I've still got to seal the boards, but I'm just going to fit the brackets, get it the right height, and then I'm going to go and seal these. Right, let's see where they should go. How high should I have these up the wall? Probably about this height. That's about right. I'm going to mark on the wall exactly where the brackets are going to go. I'm going to make sure the bracket holes are vertical. I'm drilling the holes with a masonry drill bit. I've put the raw plugs in the wall and now I'm going to tap the hex screws in with a hammer. I'm making sure they go partially the way in, and then I'll screw them in the rest of the way and make sure they're really nice and tight and secure. I'm checking my spirit level so I know where the next bracket is going to go. I'm setting the second bracket a bit further in from the wall, as there's going to be another board on this long section of wall. Great, that's the first shelf up and it's pretty solid. Once I get the other shelf up, that bracket won't look so out of line. I've got this funny bit here, it's a bit like a damaged board, so I'll hide it up in the top left. Okay, now to put up the second shelf board. I'll make sure this lines up exactly with the other shelf. I've drilled the holes and now I'm putting the raw plugs in. I've lined up the hex screws with the raw plugs and now I'm tapping these in until they're about 2 inches from the wall, and then I'll screw this in the rest of the way and I'll make sure that these are solidly fixed. I'm using a spirit level to make sure this is all horizontal. That's about right. Okay, now to screw in the second bracket. It didn't quite fix in the wall. The bricks in these old Victorian houses are really crumbly, so I've just had to come in a few inches just to get a better fixing. Once I screw it in, it should all level up. The walls are really wonky in here, and the walls go like that a bit. So I'll screw that together and then screw that up there. It'll hold it all in firmly. I've now sealed these shelves with Danish oil. You can tell they're just a little bit darker. Because of the walls are a bit wonky, the shelves don't quite line up. So what I've done is screwed the two boards together so it's all lined up. I used a quick grip clamp just to clamp these in place, and then I screwed the boards together. You can't see the screw from down here, it's well hidden. Well, they look quite good, if I don't mind saying so myself. Now it's time to put all my stuff on them. I've made these big chunky boxes out of the shelves and the shelving unit. They're big enough to store files in. I've used pallet wood for the bases of these boxes. I'll show you how I did those in another video. Next time we're going to be taking up the carpet and sanding the floor and making a bit of a mess. So please stay tuned for another DIY video coming soon.